What is up? The week 11 edition of Matchup Points is live right now at fantasypoints.com. I am John Hansen, our guy Brett Whitefield, and our other guy, Mr. Adam Caplan, right there on your screen, and our guy Tommy T on the other side of the glass. Week 11 kicking off in about, less than 2 hours. We'll get into it here. We'll obviously start with the football game tonight, Adam. We kind of tend to go to you first here with the injuries and all that. I don't think we're going to have any surprises here at the inactives. And is there even anything that we're actually waiting on for this game?
No. Trent Irwin starts for Higgins again. You saw him score. He's been on and off their practice squad for 4 years. This is the first time he actually made your team come out of training camp. Great story. Tim Hubbard's out again at the end. Trey Hendrickson gave him a scare when he hyperextended his knee, but he will play tonight. Baltimore, Stanley, the left tackle's out. McCarry will start for him. Morgan Moses is back, the right tackle, after missing last week's game. That's good because they'd have real problems if Moses couldn't play. Their depth would have been tested. So that's pretty much it. Now, the big one, obviously, is the corner, Humphrey, who's out tonight, Marlon Humphrey, with I believe it's a grade 1 calf strain. That's going to be interesting to see what they do to camouflage it. But as you know, they give up like no production. They have a great defense.
Yeah, but Marlon Humphrey has been good as always. And,
Yep.
per the data, he's given up the fewest yards or fantasy points per route run.
There you go.
Brett, talk about the Raven offense here. How has Lamar looked to you? I mean, last time he checked in, 3-4 weeks ago, you thought he was playing well. Is that still the case? The production's not there, but the main matchup here for Baltimore is probably their running game. So expand on that too, right? Because the Bengals are terrible against the run right now.
Yeah, for sure. So Lamar, he looks good. I mean, he's been great. Last week was a little bit of a blemish, but that's a really tough defense to play. The game plan coming into this game should absolutely be the run. Establish that run the ball. Cincinnati, very good in pass coverage, very good rushing the passer. I think they have the 5th highest pressure rate in the league right now. Really good time to pressure as well. So not only do they get home quickly. We saw a similar defense in Cleveland last week give Lamar and that passing attack a lot of trouble. So I think this could be a tough one for it. Not quite as tough as the Cleveland game, but if they want to get going, they got to get going against the Bengals with the run game. And the Bengals gave up 150 yards to a dead running team last week. I mean, Houston was one of the worst rushing offenses in the league, and Singletary looked like a player. So,
yeah. Well, Adam, we all saw that coming with Devin Singletary. Right now, I'm kidding, of course. We did not at all. Well, Adam, when you look at the receiving core, our guy, the grinder, likes Bateman over his prop. He did run, I guess, the 2nd highest number of routes. I don't know. It just kind of seems to me that maybe Odell is kind of coming on, but maybe that's just fluky on a couple of plays. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, Odell scored on the crossover, the only catch he had. He's been, as you know, a non-factor for $13 million. Aguilar shows up every now and then. He can play all 3 receiver positions, and Zay Flowers is the one where I'm just not sure what to think of him week to week. We know he looks good, but his usage is just not always as consistent as we'd like.
Well, they do play a lot of single high safety, right? The Bengals?
Yeah, a lot. Mostly single high.
Isn't that
62%-ish? So
I remember you liked Flowers last week, and he had a solid game. But let's move over to the Bengals. Any thoughts here? I mean, Brett, in your mind, how important as they try and slow down Jamar Chase is the absence of Humphrey? And I just want to get this on record because I forgot to mention this on Fantasy Sports Radio this morning. I have this curse thing. If you are playing me, if I'm up against a guy in the ACI, Adam, and he's like a good player, that dude freaking goes off. So
yeah,
Jamar Chase is probably catching 10 tonight for 180 because I'm playing against him.
Well,
but that's that's BS analysis. What do you think, Brett?
Yep. Oh, good. I'll add something later.
Yeah, I mean, so Humphrey's for sure not playing, Adam?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's doubtful, so that's
not expected to play. Yeah, they can't afford to have a setback with him. As I was saying earlier, I mean, not only is he the best corner, he's a matchup guy if they want him to. There's so much you can do with him. Yeah, can't do that.
Yeah, so that's great for them. I mean, they'll really only concern is Cincinnati's pass protection. While Burrow and the weapons have kind of ascended, their pass protection's broken down a little bit the last few games. So
yeah, it has.
Baltimore obviously has a pretty decent pass rush, and what I like about it is they mix it up. They come at you from every angle. It's not easy to get into the correct checks and correct protection. So that's maybe the only thing that can slow Jamar Chase down. Otherwise, I would expect him to have a big game for sure.
Well, they manufacture a lot of the rush, you know.
Exactly.
So maybe a smart guy like Burrow, though, can, second time around can, maybe isolate that. But Adam, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, two things. So Chase is off the injury report, so he came out with a back fine. Now here's the big thing: Rock Ya-Sin should start for Humphrey. He replaced him in the last game. Ronald Darby started for Humphrey. Remember, Humphrey had foot surgery in August. But Rock Ya-Sin is a guy that's never lived up. John, you and I have talked about him a lot. That's why he's never been a good player. He's just a talented kid from Temple, but he never became that guy. I understand it. They're a scheme-related outfit on defense. They execute really, really well. They give a very little production. But I'm feeling a lot better about Jamar Chase tonight without Humphrey, let me tell you.
Yeah. And then Trenton Irwin was my Thursday night special over 32.5, I think, on FanDuel. He does. I mean, he's averaging 13 fantasy points a game, Adam, in 4 of 5 games over the last 2 years in which he's played more than half the snaps. So Burrow likes him.
He's a good player out of Stanford, bounced around with Miami. Then he's been on and off the Bengals practice squad, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And this year he made the team. I wouldn't say he's one of the best backup receivers in the NFL, but he's done a pretty good job in his role, as you said. He's got decent enough size. He's a funny-looking dude, but, man, he gets the job done. Good story is Trent Irwin.
Yeah. He was there last year, too. Surprised, like, who the hell is this guy? And he made the team again.
Exactly.
Cowboys at the Panthers, and injury-wise, looks like it's pretty light for Dallas. Hayden Hurst in the protocol. And are we getting J.C. Horn back this week, Adam?
Okay, a couple things here before we get to them. Turpin, the special teams returner, actually plays a decent amount of receiver. He should play. He hurt his shoulder on that touchdown catch against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. He should get cleared. Horn just started working. I'm told, though, with Horn is he's got to feel he's 100% to play. That's just the way that he is. Brian Burns should get cleared out of concussion protocol. He's trending towards that. They're getting healthier in the secondary. That's big. I'll tell you what, they have a stingy secondary. Despite all the injuries they've had this season, which have been numerous, they're pretty competitive.
Well, Brett, I mean, you're talking about Carolina or Dallas?
Carolina.
Okay, well, agreed. But Brett, I think Dallas's D has been pretty damn stingy. Like there were some issues against the run kind of earlier, but I don't think they've given up anything. Is there anything positive about this matchup? Bryce Young popping up on the injury report. I mean, I know they play a lot of man, and Bryce is, better against man, but I don't trust the protection.
I would say this, they do play a lot of man. They're going to throw extra pass rushers at you too. Adam Thielen has one of the highest target rates in the league against man coverage.
Yeah.
He also is great in the short parts of the field where he's going to need to operate. And Jordan Lewis is also a phenomenal matchup for him. So I think the only positive is probably Adam Thielen. I do think you can still run on this defense too, John. I know they've appeared stingier the last few weeks, but it's game script related. Yeah. They're getting teams in situations where they can't even run the football. So,
yeah, true.
So if Carolina can keep it close, which is a big if, obviously, I do think you can get a little bit on them in the run game. But Adam Thielen's probably the one play here that I like.
But that's a quagmire anyway, though, Adam, because you got frickin' Sanders and Chuba. That's probably right now. It's probably a fluid situation, hot hand thing.
It is. Now, a couple things here. Brett's right. If you look at Dallas's D tackle group, they have a very deep group. They go 5 deep. They rotate. They're better against the run. They're not unbeatable. You can beat them if you're committed to it. Now, the problem is Sanders, I'm told from the coaching tape, he's still trying to. He's picked up the bad habits again that he had years ago before he kind of turned his career around a little bit. And obviously, he was great last year. He's trying to break too many runs deep. He's not hitting the holes that are there. And Chuba is a straight ahead juice runner. He's not instinctive. I'm told that's kind of the word on him.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really depend on them. And Brett's right; they're probably going to get smoked in this game. So it's hard. If you're looking at Hubbard or Sanders as a flex. I mean, that's how bad it's been for Sanders. I wish you good luck.
Yeah, I finally gave up on Jonathan Mingo. Watch him do something against man, but I can't do it anymore. I picked up Marv Mims just as a stash and hope guy. Yeah, I mean, I at this point I'll take the complete unknown of Marvin Mims over what we've seen from Johnny Mingo. But for Dallas, oh, and by the way, like Rico Dowdle is not going to usurp Tony Pollard anytime soon, right?
No,
Like
it's not happening.
I mean, there are people saying that.
Are these the same people? I hate to pick on some of these people. Remember the nonsense that came out of from the Bucks about people saying that Tucker would take White's job, which was never factual, was made up by some people in the fantasy industry.
Yeah, I thought he might be able to get in there for a couple of series a game,
Yeah, but this idea that he's going to lose his job was just complete fiction. So you got to be careful with that stuff when you mislead people.
Yeah, and then well, I mean, what else can we say about Dak Prescott and the red hot Cowboy offense? I mean, it's not the greatest matchup overall, but man, you're rolling with these dudes for sure. What about Brian Burns though? That he might not play, right? That'll help.
He's good. He took all his
he is.
And barring, I mean, he's trending towards being cleared. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, let's move on here. Week 11 matchup points live stream at fantasypoints.com. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns, and we all know what's coming. A lot of conservative leather helmet football forthcoming. I mean, I'm lost with Kenny Pickett at this point. Like, I liked Deontay last week, so now I got Pat Freiermuth at him. Probably back, right?
He should be. Yeah, he's now. Here's the one caveat. The last week he practiced, it looked like he was going to play a setback on Thursday. That Thursday, and he went on IR the next day.
Oh,
but it's the same hamstring. So, but he's trending well. Deontay Johnson took all his reps today with that thumb injury. He's good to go. Defensively, they've got injuries on all three levels. Pittsburgh.
Doesn't look good for Minka.
Yeah, no, he hasn't practiced since he got hurt. They're down two of their top four inside linebackers for the season. Their thought is that they're really concerned about their run defense. That's what I'm told. So that's because you're down. Yeah, you're down, and you said it, John, on our show on Wednesday. You're expecting a ton of running with DTR, obviously, who was awful against Baltimore. But the word around the team is who's better, so we'll see.
If they could run Jerome Ford 19 times a game and Kareem Hunt 14 times a game, they absolutely would. Brett, what were your thoughts on the DTR impact, more of a playmaker? I mean, PJ Walker was pretty damn bad here. At some point, the fact that he's more experienced is, I guess, thrown out the window. I'm okay with the move. We'll see how DTR does, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, DTR opens up the playbook a little bit. Like, there's some things you can do with him that you weren't really doing with Watson or Walker. He does have legit breakaway speed for a quarterback, like in the Kyler Murray spectrum, which I think is nice. But ultimately, it's going to hurt the pass game. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So, especially like this is a bad matchup for DTR to come into with his second start of his career. Like Pittsburgh they're great at disguising coverages. They're great at, their pass rush is insane. They have like the fourth highest time to pressure in the league. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith are both super twitched up athletes. Like, I know Cleveland's had some tackle issues all year too. So like this is just
big time tackle issues.
DTR. Yeah, I think this is going to be bad.
Oh,
Steelers are good for fantasy.
Oh, defense, yes.
Yeah.
On what Brett said. So you might remember Garon Christian, who was a left tackle drafted by Washington. He will start at left tackle for the second straight game.
Oh my God.
I don't know how they got away with it last week. James Hudson will start again at right tackle. Wyatt Teller has an ankle injury that just popped up. So they've got problems. I love the Pittsburgh. I don't know where you have the Pittsburgh defense, John. If they're not one or two, you may need. I know that they've got some injuries, but
they're two. We have them at two.
Yeah.
Is one though. Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, it's Tommy DeVito, but yeah, this is a good week to start.
No, that's Bryce Young.
Oh, against Bryce Young, who can't score either. But yeah. So they got away with it last week. I can't imagine, based on what Brett just said and what we know, that they could get away with it 2 weeks in a row. And obviously without Watson, it's coming. RPO.
And then for that stupid report this week that Jalen Warren was now the starter
I told you it was nonsense.
is complete bullshit. You know, like it's not even. Would they announce him as a co-starter or something?
It's just what happened was, John. It was ceremonial because he's been. Tomlin explained it. It was ceremonial to start because he's been so good. They just want to give him to reward him to be the first guy out.
He's been so good. It was ceremonial,
right? But look, they're running it. One thing you could say, I know Pickett struggled mightily, but they're running the heck out of it. They look good.
Last 3 weeks, they've been really effective in the run game.
I mean, how good? I mean, how does it? It's amazing how Najee looked like he was a prisoner behind a wall, and now he's out there, you know, second level entry, like on the regular.
I told you, to me, it looked like he'd gotten lean finally, like he was in football condition. I'm telling you, game one, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he was over 240 pounds.
Wow.
He's so heavy he looked, huh? Running.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It was. I have some screenshots I could send you guys. It's pretty wild.
Well, wait a minute. They're not as big as who was the Packers back, John, who you loved? Oh, Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy. Oh, I was a big Eddie Lacy guy.
Not quite Eddie Lacy, but but yeah, he was out of shape nonetheless. He looks good. Warren looks good too. They have a really nice combo there, little thunder and lightning combo.
Right.
I think Warren leads our data and missed tackles force per touch, and Najee's numbers creeping up too. Like he started horrendously. He had like 3 forced missed tackles the first 3 weeks of the season, and he's all the way, I don't know, in the top 15 now. So
he was a very good buy low guy about 5 weeks ago when I first listed him. Even before I asked you about it, I looked at the schedule, put 1+1, like they got to run the rock, and he's doing well. He is still a little touchdown dependent though. Let's move on to the next game, and it's the Bears and the Lions. Well, Adam will likely get Justin Fields back, like it's 100% trending that way. What do you make of the backfield now with Foreman limited?
Look for Herbert to be activated by Saturday's deadline. They cut Darrington Evans today, so it's a clear picture for Herbert to be the backup.
I missed that. Okay.
Yep. So they are so happy with Foreman. This is what I told you in the spring. This is what someone told me who would know. This is exactly what they wanted from Foreman. Yeah. Eat up carries. They don't want anything on the quarterback. This is what Eberflus wants, and they're getting it from him. Now he's got an ankle injury. He should go. Herbert should be the backup. Now they've adjusted the Herbert injury to shin. It's shin and ankle are connected, obviously. So they've kind of updated to that it's actually a shin. So he couldn't take contact on it. Now he can. He's looking good. So barring something unforeseen, he should be activated. I'm telling you, they're going to run the ball 35, 40 times this game if they could. Now, obviously, they're probably going to get behind, and that will impact it. But if they can stay in this game, they're running the ball. I bleep load, John, in this game.
I've got them. I got the 3 guys with 24 carries. That's about as high as I can go to based on what you just said. But it's also divided among 3 dudes, so it's a quagmire.
Yep. Nate Davis, their starting guard, should be back. He's been out a while. So their line, the left tackle's playing really well. This is the best. This is the most healthy their line has been all season. So maybe, I'm not saying they're going to push the Lions. They won't. But at least maybe they can run the ball. The ball well.
We'll learn a little bit about it because let's presume that the Lions are up in Detroit. Like, who's the hurry up back right now? Is it Herbert or is it Roshan?
Yeah, it's been so long. I don't know.
Yeah, no idea.
Well, I think he had 4 targets in the second half last week. So
okay.
Yeah. But Herbert was out.
Oh, true.
Yep.
True.
Well, what do you think here? The Bears actually, Brett, by the numbers, I mean, they got Sweat to help out the pass rush. They're stingy now against the pass. So, I mean, maybe Eberflus is good, but you see anything there?
They've kind of played some buns teams, some teams just not very good. Yeah. I don't take a whole lot from it. They're all over the place too with their coverage deployment. Some weeks they're really man heavy, some weeks they're zone heavy. I thought Jalen Johnson was going to be the indicator there, but they went back to a super zone heavy look last week. So I don't know. I know that I like Josh Reynolds in this matchup. I was going to talk about him on your show yesterday. Yeah, Goff loves single high coverages. The Bears are going to play a good bit of it. Josh Reynolds is his guy, and he's got the best matchup against for the cornerbacks this week. He's got Tyreek Stevenson, he's been a sieve all year. I know Jalen Johnson's been kind of a revelation for them. Kyler Gordon's been pretty good in the slot, and I think Amon-Ra can beat Kyler all day. I don't think that's scary, But I do think Josh Reynolds has been pretty much off the radar for 3-4 weeks now after a pretty hot start to the season. I think this might be a week to get him involved. I know Dan Campbell's also been singing Jameson Williams praises too the last few days, which is not something he has ever done. So,
well, here it is, though. I'll tell you what they like is, I think you actually brought it up a while ago. He's such a devastating blocker. And I think what they're trying to do is build his confidence up because he's really not been as crisp as a route runner as they'd like. And he needs to bring his game up to the next level to be heavily in the rotation, which he's not been yet. But let me get back to Chicago. Here's why they're stingy. Jalen Johnson missed a lot of time. Brisker missed time with a concussion. Eddie Jackson missed time with a foot. Stevenson missed time. Kyler Gordon, well, they all missed time. Terrell Smith was starting for those guys. He's been out with an illness. So they're all back. They have everyone in their secondary now. I'm not saying that they're that good.
Right. I thought they'd be a good matchup even with those dudes, basically.
Right. Edmonds, by the way, for IDP owners, you can expect him not to play this week. He hasn't practiced since he got hurt.
Edmonds?
Yeah, the middle linebacker. So they moved TJ Edwards over for him.
Well, that's good news for Jahmyr Gibbs, Brett.
Gibbs or Laporta,
and Laporta, but Jared Goff should be doing his taxes back there.
Right? I know it's because last week, the Bears got a little bit of pass rush. Well, the Panthers, their line is not very good. So.
The Lions O line is so good, and it's fully healthy too.
Ragnar. Well, no. You know who's not going to play this week? Well, actually, I'm worried about it. Jonah Jackson has a new injury, and he hasn't done anything this week.
That's
and then Ty is on IR, right?
Well, Big V went on IR. In fact, he probably won't return this season. And Jonah Jackson, who just came back, got hurt. He has a new injury. And Ragnall's dealing with two things. They're going to rest him a lot and just get him ready to be able to play every week. But
Ragnall has a toe it's not a healable thing. He's been playing with it since last season.
And that's why they rest him every Wednesday. And he's also got a back issue. So I'm a little bit worried about their interior. But as you said, the Bears have no pass rush.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it. Goff will get the job done. This is to me like a 24-10 game. I don't say that's a big deal.
Well, Brett, how do you think Fields and the Bear passing game and all that whole offense matches up with the Lions?
Yeah. So I mean, the problem is like Aaron Glenn and mobile quarterbacks. It's like he has tremors thinking about it. So I mean, Fields could give them some trouble. Like the Lions defense has not been good against mobile quarterbacks.
Lamar killed them, right?
Yeah, Lamar killed them. Geno Smith killed them. Ironically, both their two losses. They contained Mahomes decently, and then they did okay against. It's eluding me. But anyways, I think Fields could give them trouble.
Josh Dobbs, maybe.
They didn't play Dobbs.
No, I'm looking at Baltimore's schedule. My bad.
Herbert was, another guy who's pretty mobile. He's sneaky athletic, and he was doing pretty much whatever he wanted last week. So, I worry about that a little bit for Detroit. Fields, it's his first game back, so maybe he's a little rusty.
Yep.
I don't know, but if he can make plays out of structure, I think that could be problematic for the.
That's their only thing. They, as I said earlier, to start this game is they're going to want to run the ball a ton. They've very maybe one or two games they've given Fields a chance at volume. I don't see it as first game back coming off a pretty significant thumb injury.
True,
but I'm just interested to see if they could hang in this game because they could pile up the volume, John, with the run game if they could stay in it.
Yeah, and if they do have to throw, I mean, Fields' last couple of games throwing the rock were pretty damn good.
Well, actually, he was until the game that he got hurt. He did not look good before he got hurt.
That's true.
He didn't very well at all.
Let's move on here. The Week 11 matchup points live stream at fantasypoints.com, along with Brett Whitefield, Adam Caplan, and me, John Hansen, the Chargers at the Green Bay Packers. And it looks like injury-wise, Adam, Keenan Allen back in practice. I see
limited, but he should go.
Jair Alexander back today. I see
limited, but he missed the other game. He's been hurt a lot this season. In fact, John, they're down a bunch of safeties. Rudy Ford, who was one of the better special teams players in the NFL, he's been starting because they've had injuries. He's a biceps injury. He has not done anything this week. So keep an eye on that. That's good for the Chargers pass game. If he cannot play, they're running out of safeties, so that's good.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Brett, on Justin Herbert last week? I'm sure you saw that, paid close attention. I was that the quarterback you were talking about with the Lions?
Yeah, I mean he tore him up. A lot of it though was Justin Herbert, like just putting the team on his back. Like he was throwing into a lot of tight windows, just making a ridiculous throw after ridiculous throw. Of course, a week ago I said Herbert hasn't done anything since his rookie season to impress me, and then he just put up the scoreboard against my hometown
jinx,
team.
Reverse jinx, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Lions came out. The Lions got it done.
Yeah, they did. And when you're traveling across the country, you'll take a win any way you get it. So, anyways, but yeah, Herbert looked great. I like this matchup for him too. The Green Bay doesn't pose a single scary corner to me right now. I think all of the Chargers receivers will be able to do kind of what they want.
I would, not that I've even been there, I would highly recommend though, if your team's out there playing at SoFi to go to a game out there. Like I haven't even done it, but spending so much time out there, I talk to people all the time who stay in my hotel. It's like freaking 2 miles from the stadium, man. Everybody loves it. Like, it's just amazing. Well, was Jordan Love any better? I thought he made some nice throws last week, Brett.
Making nice throws has never really been his problem.
Yeah.
He's got arm talent. He's like a poor man's version of Josh Allen, where he can make some things happen, but just both his interceptions were bad. He had a fumble in the pocket that was really bad. Like, he's just decision making is really, really. I think he completed 20 of 40 passes. I mean,
accuracy is still a problem for him. Yeah. It's actually a major problem, to be honest with you.
Well, our guy Jaden Reed, boy, he's looking pretty darn good. I mean, I think you were right in the summer, and I didn't disagree when you said he kind of should be the one, because Watson, you can't be relied on, man. They went to him early last week. He dropped a couple of balls. It felt like they went away. Then they tried again. He dropped more balls.
Yep. Yeah, and Jaden Reed's skill set just lends to more consistency. Like he doesn't have to rely on big plays to get it done. Like, he's a really good route runner. Really refined that way. I love the way they're using him too, moving him all over in the slot.
Yeah, like a Deontay John, like a lowercase Deontay Johnson kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably got more run after catch ability than Deontay.
Yeah, yeah. I will say they are still rolling with AJ freaking Dillon. I don't know, Adam, if they have to, because they don't want to open it up too much with Aaron Jones, but I don't know if you have any thoughts there. But AJ Dillon is actually, Brett, I don't know if you've noticed, he's ripped off some longer runs lately.
A 40-yarder for him is almost impossible. The Red Seas must have parted because he's just not explosive. No, but he's still a part of the run game. And, by the way, Jones is still on the injury report with the hamstring. It's now been 2 months.
I know. That's what I mean.
That's probably why they're doing it. And don't forget about Dobbs in the red zone, John. He's money there.
Sure.
He always gets looks in the red zone.
Well, that weather is getting colder. It's a little bit more about AJ Dillon. It's going to be like what? Oh, 30s. We're in the 30s, so it's could bode well for AJ Dillon to get some volume here. But then again, they have to hold down the Chargers. But I mean, we shall see. I don't know if the Chargers are absolutely potent here. In a shootout last week, they showed well, but this one will be a little different, I think. Moving on to the Cardinals at the Texans, injury wise here, Adam. Looks like we'll get Amari DeMarcado, but we added Michael Carter. So
yeah,
a little fluid situation there behind Connor.
Let's break this down. So Connor's off the injury report. He came out well for the knee injury. Murray's not on the injury report. That's good. DeMarcado didn't work a lot today, but he did work. He started. It's the first time he's really done anything since he got hurt with a toe injury. So that's good. Michael Carter, I know he didn't do well. He dropped passes. They just made a collective decision. It wasn't going to work for them anymore with him. But he will help the Cardinals on third down. Once he knows the protection scheme, if he knows what he's doing, he's going to play. I mean, he's going to help them on third down. That's what he was supposed to do with the Jets, and Dalvin Cook came in, took his job. But the other thing is, the Cardinals' offensive line's been super banged up. It wasn't very good to begin with, but the center looks like he's got a chance. Colon and Humphreys, the left tackle, started working today, so that's good.
And they're hanging in there, though. They're not like a sieve.
Yeah. I mean, I just wish they were more talented, and that's what this front office has got to do. And for the Texans, they're super banged up.
Big time.
Noah Brown hasn't done anything since he got hurt in the game last week, and he hasn't taken any reps at all. Dameon Pierce highly unlikely to play, so it's more Singletary. Their line's going to be good. Dalton Schultz is fine for the hamstring. He took all his reps today.
Nico.
Yeah, Nico started working today, but remember, it's a calf. It actually both days he worked. Missed last week's game, but it's a calf, so it's not a lock. And Robert Woods, it's the same foot he's had a problem with for weeks. He took a lot of reps today, so it's obviously not good if Nico plays. It's Noah Brown, as I was telling you a week ago. Once Collins comes back, that's it for Noah Brown, because they're just gonna do what they do, and Collins will play a lot, obviously with Tank Dell. That's their top two guys.
Well, Brett, big time. Well, maybe not big time, but plus matchups for the Texan wide receivers. And of course, Stroud here against these cars like Marco Polo Wilson in particular.
Yeah, that's our guy, John. We've been picking on him all year. And also Nico, by the way, is the perfect wide receiver to match up with him, because intermediate deep stuff, that's where Marco's just been getting destroyed all year long. So
it's Nico Suave against Marco Polo. Let's go.
Let's go.
That one. Anyway.
The other side, Tank Dell's getting Antonio Hamilton, who's probably been worse than Marco the last few weeks. Actually, I know his season wide stats are a little bit better, but the last few weeks he's been a little bit worse. So,
all right, and then your thoughts on your guy Stroud last week. Kind of looked like he was the best quarterback on the field last week,
dude. Man, enough can't be said about this kid. I mean, he looks awesome. And the thing I keep coming back to, and it sounds like a critique against him, but like he's actually doing this while leaving a lot on the bone as well. Like he throws with so much anticipation. What people don't understand is that will either make you look amazing or make you the misses look bad, right? If you have a slight miscommunication with the receiver, like that pass can be way off. So he has a lot of misses, but he's literally inventing windows for his receivers. It's unbelievable what he's doing. So
the knock on him that I've heard from his coaching tape is it plays into what you're talking about. He does predetermine some throws, and that obviously it's connected to the anticipation part of it. That will leave if you're deciding, okay, let's see where that corner is. He's off. I'm going there, and he gets it. He's super accurate, and even if he sees the guy coming up, he'll still throw it if he thinks he can make it. That plays to your point.
Yeah,
he's playing at a super high level, and they'll figure that stuff out as he plays more. He'll see it better because they're showing it to him, obviously, with the coaches on Monday morning. But he's playing at a super high level. He is the reason, John. These guys come at, like, not that Collins has come out of nowhere, but as you know, he'd done very little in his career. Mm-hmm. They're all fantasy relevant because of this quarterback. That's the deal.
Yeah, not real efficient throwing it to Tank Dell last week, but hey, we'll take it, man. I mean, my man is getting peppered here with targets. And on the other side of things, Brett, for the Cardinals, talk about how difficult the matchup is right now for freaking James Conner. I can't freaking believe it. The Texans are this good against the run, and then now they get Stingley back. I mean, it's not the best matchup for the Cardinals, but how did Kyler look too? I know there's a lot in that question right there.
Yeah, so I'll start with Conner. It is a really tough matchup. The one thing you can hang your hat on is it looks like he's already back to being a bell cow.
Yeah.
I mean, the other running backs had 3 touches in the game. I mean, he played 65, 70% of the snaps. I mean, and I think that will even go up this week because he another week into it. Kyler Murray, on the other hand, he did a lot of things in that game that I had never seen him do before.
Wow, I know.
Discipline, and he was super, super decisive. Threw to his first read target on 86% of his throws. So he's playing within the structure of the offense. And when he did decide to run, it wasn't a lot of lollygagging in the backfield, looking to make a play, getting sacked unnecessarily. It was, you know what? It's time to go. I'm freaking going. And then, of course, when he had to escape because the pressure came, he was excellent at that still. If he continues that, then that's an elevation for where he was at, because that's his biggest knock is he refuses to play within the structure of a play.
And look at his usage, and obviously Drew Petzing, the offense coordinator of Trey McBride, I've been talking about this guy for 3 months, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get this one wrong.
Oh no, we all love him, man. Brett, we were at the Senior Bowl, man. We all pumped that guy up.
This guy is so good, and I'm so glad, obviously with the change in the offense coordinator, they're running Cleveland's offense, and he should be featured. And I would expect him, John, the rest of the way to be their number one targeted guy over Hollywood. I really, some people might not agree, but I'm going to stick with that.
I got some juicy McBride nuggets for you guys.
Huh?
He ranks first in the NFL among all tight ends over the last 3 weeks in air yard share, target share, first read share, and yards per route run.
First read share. Wow. That's
great. I mean, he's higher than Travis Kelce in first read share. That doesn't make sense. But,
wow. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. That's how productive this guy's been. It's been like 5 or 6 weeks now. He's been in the top 5 for yards per route run. So
yeah, I mean, they've got a diminutive number one receiver, a rookie, and help me, Rondale Moore. That's it.
Another diminutive wide receiver. I think he's the size of my 6-year-old.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we were never Rondale Moore. I was going to do a parody. Help me, Rondale. Get him out of my lineup. No, but I never did it. Anyways, yeah, tougher matchup overall though for the wideouts.
Yep.
And the Cardinals have been really good against tight ends all year. They're showing some signs of weakness lately, though. They've been a little weaker, but we are not sitting Trey McBride at all.
Right.
Mr. C, let's move on. Tennessee at Jacksonville. And, I mean, boy, this is rough here. This is absolutely rough with these Jaguars. Adam, injuries. What do we got here? No Traylon Burks, I see.
Yeah, he hasn't played since he got his concussion. He's highly unexpected. But their offensive line, John, is so banged up. They don't know who's starting at certain positions yet. They won't know probably till Saturday. They're an absolute mess.
Dillard.
Dillard was benched, but he had to play the last game. They had concussion. Dan Brunskill is now starting at guard. He's got an ankle problem. They're going to have to do some shuffling. It's a nightmare. It's bad. They're an awful offense.
Zay Jones, is Zay Jones practicing?
He's practicing. Yeah. Oh,
we're talking about practice.
Yeah, he's still John Dillon. He's got the off the field issue. Agnew is back up. Is going to be out a while. He might go on IR. He's got a bad shoulder injury. Oh, and also now if by a miracle that Titans could protect, Tyson Campbell had a setback with his hamstring injury. I'd be very surprised if he played. We'll know more tomorrow, but the kid who filled in for him did a decent job the last game, but he's good, and that would be big if he doesn't play.
Well, Brett, though, can we trust Cal Ridley, who good matchups here with the corners, but can we trust him?
I like it. I think this might be the week we get him back. The critical thing I've had with Ridley in the way they use him is it's all vertical. His entire route tree is mostly vertical, nothing quick hitting, nothing designed. And so when they don't have the offensive tackle play to hold up against teams like San Francisco, when you go up against a team like that, he's basically going to get shut out of the game like he did. I don't think he saw a target in the first half. This week, though, he's playing Tennessee, and Tennessee has a bottom 5 pass rush in the league. Their time to pressure the last 3 weeks is like 2.6. I mean, they can't get home. So if Lawrence and Ridley can't get it done this week against this soft secondary, against a pass rush that can't get home, I don't know what else we got left. So I think this is the week, though. I would bet that Ridley comes alive this week.
So Brett's calling him out. John, Brett's calling him out. He's like, if you guys can't get it done here, that's it. We're out. That's what he said.
I mean, that's actually baked into the projection I did for him. 3.5 catches, but I got him with 16.6 yards a catch. I mean, that's he's only averaging 10 right now in his last 4. I mean, it doesn't add up to a ton here. Wide receiver 30 on the board here, but Christian Kirk though is probably catching 7-8 balls again
every week.
And then ETN. I mean, I go right back to the well with ETN, right? I mean, any concerns from any of you of last week? I mean, I just burned the tape game, really.
Yeah, I mean that San Francisco, it's tough because you would think you could run the ball against them. They're not good against the run, but they were so behind in that game. What do? You had to throw it.
Yeah. Oh, the Niners. You're saying the Niners can be run on?
Yeah,
a little bit more than usual, but I mean,
they were bad against the run last year too. That's what the Eagles did to them in the playoffs. They just shoved the ball down their throat.
I guess.
And then for whatever reason, the Niners keep collecting guys that can't stop the run and only rush the pass.
Hargrave, exactly. He's talking about Hargrave. Hargrave plays the run on the way of the quarterback. He's a sack guy. One of the reasons why the Eagles didn't want to pay him is he just doesn't play the run well. That's true.
Let's and the Will Levis report. It's things have gone downhill since that debut, Brett.
Oh, last week was rough. The frustrating thing too is I think the first 4 or 5 plays, he came out slinging it, made 2 great throws on that first drive. I was like, I even texted the data chat and was like, man, Levis looks good again. And then, the moment I uttered those words,
do we have to freaking spread the ball around to like 9 different guys though? I know. Annoying. When you have a young quarterback, don't you want him focusing and throwing it to like?
Well, it's interesting, John. It's interesting you say that because if you look at their pass target tree, Phillips played the least amount of snaps of the group, but he was the one who's most productive other than Hopkins. Chris Moore actually started. Very odd. I don't know what to make of it. And Phillips is catching the ball downfield a little bit because that's really not his forte.
Right.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. Chig, I don't know what to do about. I guess we're just going to punt on Chig. I guess this is not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, the best you can count on is 3 for 25.
I will say his targets have gone up the last couple of weeks.
They have.
I got a nugget on Hopkins too. That's just really dinging. Okay. He's so close to being one of the top guys. He has 5 end zone targets this year that have resulted in an uncatchable throw. Like ball not even close to him. So
I know. I've been betting his over the catch total prop. Lost it last week. I know.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, whether it was Tannehill or Levis, they just like Hopkins is open in the end zone. He's been missed 5 times.
Yeah.
Which is that's an insane stat that leads all receivers by a lot. So, yeah.
What do we do with Derrick Henry? I mean, I kind of like him the next 2 weeks at home against like the Panthers and Colts, but I don't know about this one in Jacksonville. I guess it all depends on the freaking score of the game, right? I mean,
yeah.
I also don't have a ton of confidence in the Jaguar offense unless ETN goes off at this point, Brett.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, ETN's explosive run rate is way up, but like he gets stuffed more than any running back in the league, any high volume running back in the league. So it's the consistency we're hoping for. It's shown up here and there, but over the last 10 weeks, it's just not there in full. So Henry, I mean, Jacksonville, they got gashed by San Francisco last week, but who doesn't San Francisco gash? So I don't know. I like Henry. I think he's playing well. So
yeah. What do you think, Adam? Henry, would you sell if you could, or would you look at him these next 2 weeks after this week? Is he could be really good in those games at home? Like,
well, that's the thing. They have to stay in the game.
Yeah, but it's the Panthers and Colts.
No, that's it. No, the Colts are they're competitive against the run, but then they play Houston, then they play Seattle, and then the Texans. Boy, they played Texans.
That's not great. After that
would worry me. I'm so down on their team because their line is just. Yeah. We knew coming into the season their line was not good from a talent standpoint. They've been so decimated by injury. It's hard to, and they did not invest in their offensive line. That's the thing that was a major mistake by Rand Carthon. He's got to completely rebuild that line. You can't go 2 seasons with a line like this. This is not right.
Yeah, I'm just looking short term to sneak out.
The next couple of weeks, I'm in Carolina, and certainly Carolina. But I'd trade him after that if your trade deadline has not happened. To be honest with you,
right. And also, you would never do this unless you could also have Spears sitting there as a handcuff.
I hope he's the guy next year. I really do.
I mean, unless Vrabel leaves, which I doubt, right? Or maybe, who knows? But I would think so. Maybe they'll get a bigger back to get some work in there. Vegas Raiders at Miami Dolphins. Injury wise, Adam, a bunch of dudes limited. I see some O-line issues for Miami.
Colton Miller started working back. He missed their last game he's their left tackle, obviously. Dylan Parham started working. He has a calf injury. He started working. Most of their players should play. Most of their starters, should play in this game. But the big ones are Miami. A-Chain, he's trending towards being able to play. They have until Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm just telling you this. If he's active, he's in my lineup. I don't care how I have to find it. He's one of the rare players in the National Football League that does not need very many touches to be explosive. Find a way, if he's active, to get him in your lineup as your flex player. He's just that good. I mean, John, he could put up 15 to 20 fantasy points on 8 touches. That's how explosive the guy is.
Yeah, and probably hasn't scratched the surface, Brett, of what he can do in the passing game as well as like an outlet for Tua. Take away that first read, check it down.
Yeah, based on his college tape, I suggested that maybe he should play wide receiver in the NFL as like a Tank Adele type kind of guy. One thing that I think is really positive too about him is before he got injured, he was dominating the high value touches in Miami. Inside the 10, it was like 70% of the inside the 10 snaps were going to him. I think he had 7 inside the 10 carries in like 3 games. So
and he scored from him too.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge positive. However muddy that backfield could look,
Yep.
I think the positive is he's going to get which, like you said, he doesn't need many carries to get points, and then he's going to get those high value touches, which makes him super valuable.
Does this Raider defense? I mean, they've been respectable. I mean, I don't really view them as a joke. Do they have what it takes to maybe slow down Tua or maybe not? I mean, they certainly have Crosby and decent coverage. It seems back end this year. But of course, it's Tyreek and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, you don't want to ever predict that pass game can get shut down. I think Amik Robertson has been a revelation this year. They got him back in the lineup, week 3 that was, and he's just been awesome for them.
And Peters has been hanging in there.
Peters is hanging in there. And Nate Hobbs he's a decent slot corner too. I would say he's a top 10 slot corner
I like
in the league. And ultimately, my big question is like, how hard is Miami going to try to establish the run? Because we know you can run on the Raiders. They have the running back's healthy. A-Chain coming back. It seems like that could be a bigger hindrance to the pass game than anything. Especially if you want to protect Tua from Max Crosby. Like I would definitely try to get after it in the run game.
And how about Devontae Adams here? Like, I know they have Jacoby Myers, but really not much else at all. And you literally have 2 like shutdown corner types on the other side. I mean, that's nasty.
Gross. I don't.
O'Connell, John, I know it doesn't show because he's struggled, but the book on him from a scouting standpoint, he's actually a gunslinger. When he knows what he's doing, he wants to throw, and he's a pretty aggressive throw. He's just not an athlete. He's in a scouting report for one of the teams that my guy read me from, who's an area scout. He goes, he looks sloppy. He's not going to be for everybody, but when
looks like a welder.
With the Grody mustache, but when it's blocked up, when he knows what he's looking at, he wants to throw the ball. And he's very aggressive. That's what his college tape showed. I know it doesn't look good, and it's tough for Adams, but you know what, John? Adams had 12 targets last week. He still had 86 yards.
I mean, this one though is just nasty.
It's tough. I know. It's also on the road. It's harder.
We've got look, he's Devontae Adams, so we still have him in the top 20, but it's at 18.
I know.
It's a 12 points
this year. It's a shame.
Like a 6 catches for 61 game.
Hopefully you're in PPR. Yeah, hopefully you're in PPR with that.
With no tutty. We'll see if Michael Mayer can stay somewhat involved as well, by the way. Moving on. Oh, and then Josh Jacobs. I mean, again, they don't use anybody else, so keep using Josh Jacobs.
I like the matchup too. You can run on Miami.
Yeah. If he can keep it close. He gets like, I guess, like a couple of checkdowns from O'Connell. O'Connell hasn't been awful checking it down to him, I don't think, right?
Well, it's funny. He's gotten some free catches because they run this outside zone toss play. And for whatever reason, O'Connell has a habit of throwing the ball forward, so it's going in the system as a catch.
Oh,
I love that. Isn't that great?
Jacobs has like 5 or 6 of those this year, actually, which is pretty funny.
Although I do see here he had 2 catches last week, 0 though in the week before that. But the previous star from O'Connell, he did throw it to Jacobs a little bit, like 4 or 5 targets. Let's move on to the next game here, the Week 11 matchup points live stream. Well,
take 2 minutes.
Giants and the Washington Commanders and Tommy DeVito. I'm on Tommy DeVito's side, by the way, living at home. The dude lives 8 miles from the stadium. 8 miles.
That's incredible.
A good rent is like $5,000 a month, and just somewhere in North Jersey. So I fully support him. Plus, I'm sure that chicken cutlet is good. What do we have here? Dory Jackson, Adam, for the Giants.
Started working today with a concussion. Evan Neal won't play. Evan Neal won't play with the right. It's the same ankle he's had problems with. He won't play. DeVito's fine with the left shoulder. They're an absolute mess. It's It's obviously the worst offense in football. They won't score at all. I mean, maybe they'll get lucky and they'll get a turnover and be able to run it in. This is an awful game. This game, I wish it wasn't even being played, to be honest with you. It's so bad.
10 different receivers were targeted for the Giants. We're splitting up 88 yards among 10 dudes. That's where we are.
Did they call this game off, really?
Though I will say, Brett, like Sammy Howell could crush these guys.
That's my guy. No, that's my guy.
That's I mean, I came on your show yesterday morning and said as much, and I gave you my bit about how Howell, they figured something out the last 3 weeks, getting the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. They were doing a lot of designed rollouts and getting him on the move on purpose early in the season. I think Bieniemy realized that it just creates too much chaos in Sam's head. He likes to hold the ball, so when you get him on the move, he likes that, but that's when he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So they've stopped doing that as much. They're not getting him on the move. That's resulted in the pressure rate they're allowing dropping by nearly 10% over the last 3 weeks.
Sack numbers are way down, which
Way
is great.
down. Yeah.
A couple things. Now, Gibson's had a toe problem before, John. He hasn't done anything yet. Right. He's had on and off toe problems throughout his career. This is a concern of mine for this game. Curtis Samuel also has a toe. He should play.
Yeah.
By the way, Saquon, he's going to play. That's not in question, but it's the same high ankle he's had issues with, and he's on the injury report every week. But the good thing is he did work Wednesday and today. But, it's concerning that he still has to deal with this. But, overall, this is a game where Washington shouldn't have any problems. Now, Howell did not have a good game against them the last time. Now, Adoree Jackson probably will not get cleared out of his concussion. He hasn't practiced since he had it 2 weeks ago.
That's right. I started him that week in the ACI.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. And you cut him, and I picked him up. Thank you very much for $2.
Yeah, but I cut him because I got Dak Prescott, baby.
Yeah, you didn't need him. Hey, thank you, though. Thank you.
Yeah. We're just doing some business over here. But how about Jahan Dotson this week? Because we did mention last week, forget Jahan Dotson against zone, and here we are against a team that's man heavy.
Yeah, the problem is he might see a little bit of Deontay Banks, which is their best man corner, obviously. Now Dotson moves all over the place, but recently he's played a little bit more on the outside than in the slot. So, that's the only concern. But he could see a lot of Cordell Flott as well. I know Curtis Samuel will see a lot of Cordell Flott as well, and we
like that matchup.
We love that matchup. Well,
great.
Doesn't matter who's up against Cordell Flott. We love that matchup. The one thing I will say though about the Giants defense is they're doing a really good job with disguise, and they play some exotic coverages.
That's Wink.
That's Wink. It's some stuff that's really hard to sort through. They goated a couple picks or interception worthy plays last week just by simple disguise, just tricking the quarterback. So
they're still playing hard.
Yeah, they're still playing hard, and Sam Howell is susceptible to turnovers. We know that. So if he gets a couple of these weird disguise, and that might be why he struggled so bad a few weeks ago. But these disguise looks with Sam, he just might not be experienced enough to know how to sort through them quickly.
And Adam, if you see me tweet, I love Flott, you'll know why. It'll be because
he gets picked on. I get it. Yeah,
because I need Kurt Samuel in the ACI because I was going to roll with Gibson actually. All right, well, let's move on. No more Tommy DeVito. Tampa Bucks at the Niners. It's a tough one. Injury wise, Adam, Trent Williams looks like we're good. It looks like it's a pretty light game.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start. For those of us who have Mike Evans, I got kind of worried. He showed up with the injury report yesterday, but he took all his reps today. He's good to go. They're healthy. Trent Williams will play. He's actually not on the injury report unless they updated it. Now the left guard won't play. Aaron Banks with a turf toe, but that didn't hurt them. Debo's off the injury report, so that means he came through well with a shoulder injury. That's phenomenal for those of us who have him on our teams. And Purdy, John, he was dealing very aggressive, protected well. Even when he wasn't, he threw the ball well. He didn't bail. I was just very impressed with the way he looked. And look, that Debo's shoulder is good because they ran the ball with him last week. That was
3 carries.
Yeah.
Much to my chagrin, because I kind of liked him he did score. I did like him a lot as a play, but he didn't hit my damn prop. All right. Well, any thoughts on, it's a tough spot for our guy, Rashad. I mean, we have him really high But Brett, I mean, I'm giving a man like 3.4 yards of freaking carry. It's just that I'm giving him, 4 grabs, I guess. But I am a little worried here about the Buck offense in this matchup. What are your thoughts here? We've got Rashad White, RB4, but again, 14 carries for 48 yards is not impressive. Just 4 grabs for 34.
Yeah, they're going to struggle a little bit in this game. Obviously, it's San Francisco's their pass defense is definitely beatable. I think we've seen that the last 4 or 5 weeks, come true. The recipe to beating them though is you have to have really good tackle play, good pass protection. If you can slow those edge guys down, then you can throw on them.
And they don't.
Yeah, and that's the trouble, I guess. So, and Baker also the cracks have kind of exposed a little bit the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's looked tremendously bad compared to where he was to start the season. For Rashad White though, like San Francisco blitzes more than any team in the NFL right now. It's super blitz heavy approach. That's going to either mean one of two things. One, he's going to be in pass pro all game, which would be annoying. But there's a really good chance he catches a lot of checkdowns because that tends to be what happens when teams play blitz heavy teams. Running backs catch a lot of passes because there's a void there.
Yeah. I'm definitely not envisioning a big catch game, but I'm envisioning him to maintain the high bar that he set lately. Basically 4 grabs. I'll take it. Now, for any thoughts on how where the Buck D is now, and how Purdy matches up to those guys on that side of the ball.
Yeah, they're the best defense against running backs the last 5 weeks of the season. So they're super stingy, whether that's in the run game or the pass game. Obviously McCaffrey's McCaffrey. You're never questioning what to do with him, but it's still concerning. I think they could slow him down for sure. So the Buck defense looks good though. They've given up a ton in the air, but I think their style of play, that's just what they do. Like they're going to blitz a lot as well. Sometimes they're going to leave those corners on an island and they're going to get beat, unfortunately. So, but yeah, they give up a ton of big plays. I think Brandon Ayuk should have a big day. They're going to have to get creative with the run game, though. Maybe that's where Debo comes in. I'm not sure you want to be running at Vita Vea, though.
Yeah, I'm seeing they're a little bit more zone heavy.
Mm-hmm.
When we're trying to figure out, is it a Debo or Ayuk day? We would normally maybe lean to Debo against zone. He's going to be seeing a lot of Carlton Davis, but Ayuk against Jamal Dean, that's probably a push, right?
Yeah, I think it's a push. San Francisco, they've been bad against man and zone against teams that can pass protect, though. So it doesn't really matter what they're playing; they're getting beat across the board. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I meant Tampa Bay. Sorry.
And then I will say, Adam, Georgie Kittle's been freaking good this year again. I kind of thought we'd see some regression, but
well, first of all, he's healthy. Number one, number two, by formation variation, you notice how open he gets.
Yeah,
the scheme is scheming him open. He gets wide ass open, and he's running to daylight. I mean, he's that's the thing. It's not like he's in tight coverage. He's wide open, and he gets it done. So. I don't see, unless there are a ton of turnovers, this should be a relatively low scoring game, to be honest with you. I don't see I don't see a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, and it's hard to rank and project and handicap like Purdy, because he's got 300/3 in the toolbox for sure, but you could also do 205/2.
But Brett talked about it's hard to run against Tampa. You throw against them. It's like going against Philly. You just throw against them.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Tampa, early at least, maybe.
Tampa, for whatever reason, struggled. I know they've had some injuries in the secondary, but they're healthy now at corner. But they give up production. Throughout last week, the Tennessee can't protect.
Oh, I mean, 2 weeks ago, Tampa was an absolute disaster.
Stroud looked like he was in the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago. I mean,
they give up big plays, like
470 yards. Yeah, big play, 470 yards. Come on, John, you could throw against them.
New York Jets at Buffalo Bills. Freaking Breece Hall, man. I mean, Brett, I don't know if you know anyone or know Nate Hackett or have any connection there, but I mean, do you blame anything on him? I'd like to, just because, but I mean, their running game is just stuck in the mud, and it's been a buzzkill here for Breece Hall. Who can we blame?
Yeah, it's honestly probably. I mean, I know we'd love to blame Nathaniel Hackett, but it's probably a personnel issue. O-line is bad. It's really, really bad. They're not. I mean, they don't generate anything in the run game. I think they're, bottom 5 in yards before contact per carry.
That's pathetic.
It really is. And part of the problem too is they're tethered to Zach Wilson, and so when your quarterback's not playing good, you feel comfortable playing an extra guy in the box. You feel comfortable playing a little more single high, dropping that guy down. Fitting the run a little bit differently. Maybe you spice it up with some gap exchanges, yada yada yada. That's what's happening though. They can't get anything going because teams know that's what they want to do. It's tough sledding out there.
Adam,
Dwayne Brown. I mean, well, they do have Vera Tucker on. I mean, they got kind of like 3 starters.
Brown's close. The good thing is Brown's real close to being activated. That certainly would help. Dalvin Cook, that's the best he's looked all season. I know it's not much, but he actually looked better.
Yeah,
his legs were dead before last week's game. And no, Cook and the cut of Michael Carter had nothing to do with it. It's just a decision they made internally that they're going to move on without Carter. But this is so if you got Dalvin Cook, at least you saw something. If you haven't cut him yet, at least you saw some signs of life.
What's that? I missed you. Sorry, I missed that last point.
I'm just saying, at least he's shown signs of life.
Right.
Cook, Dalvin.
Yeah, he did. He did look pretty good. Garrett Wilson, we're rolling with him, but there's literally nothing else here. Although Tyler Conklin I do like Tyler Conklin here.
He's looked good. It's not his fault. He's looked good.
Yeah. And then, how do they figure this out, Brett? Because they are going to win this game. They're not losing to the Jets twice. And this game's in Buffalo, backs against the wall. They're winning the damn game. So you tell me, Brett, how they're going to win this game.
I don't know, John. I think I may have picked them to lose this game. So,
oh, wow.
I also want to just take a small victory lap. At the end of last season on my own podcast, I said, I predicted this downfall the Bills are going through right now.
Oh.
And I said, if they wanted to save Josh Allen's career, they needed to fire Sean McDermott and hire a quarterback-driven coach. Sean Payton was the guy I threw out there. I don't love Sean Payton, but I thought that would have been a move they should have made.
How about Ben Johnson?
Well, sure.
I know your lines. I know you don't want that, but
yeah, I don't want that for sure. That would save Josh Allen's career. And you're seeing the fruits of not doing something in this. And maybe Joe Brady gets it fixed. I don't know, but it's concerning what we're seeing. Like Josh Allen looks like a rookie again. I mean, the turnovers are insane. Like, what has he got? 15, 16 turnovers.
Some are really bad. The way I understand it is he's kind of in it. So someone familiar with the situation says to me, he's in his own head. The throws he has to make, he's not making them. He's still trying to be a hero. It's just he's too mixed up in his own head. He's got it. I don't say he's got to be deprogrammed, but this is Joe Brady, John. As I told you 2 years ago, there's a reason why he was fired. He struggled mightily with the Panthers.
There's a lot of that going around though in your own head. I would say Kenny Pickett.
Yep. And by the way, Lawrence, John, there were 11 offensive coordinator changes this year. 11. Someone told me. It's a lot.
Mac Jones, forget about it. He's in somebody else's head.
Yeah, he's totally lost.
He's out of my head. Who's Mac Jones?
Yeah. Well, here's the problem, though, John. Going forward here, it's affecting Diggs.
You think?
I know. It's not good. And you've got him in the ACI, do you not?
Yeah, I know. I'm scared to death over here. I'd like to trade him, but I don't know what to do. I'm just going to suck it up and roll with it.
And Kincaid, yes, he's still doing very well, but his upside's capped when Allen's struggling like this. And it's not an offensive line issue, as I'm told. It's really on Allen. Ken Dorsey, despite what people think, really was not the issue.
Well, fall guy though.
Yes,
he was a fall guy.
That's true, but I just think that next year they're going to have someone who needs to be able to. They got to get someone who could reach Josh Allen because Brian Dable beat him up pretty well, and he accepted it. And they need someone who could really coach him hard.
Well, I do think they will win. And it's Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Shakir on Carter, Gardner, DJ Reed. That's advantage Jets. So they'll erase Gabe probably. So I do kind of think Kincaid and maybe a little James Cook in the passing game here, Brett.
This is just scary. I'm the more I think about it, I'm just like, this is scary for Buffalo. Like, we're in week 10. and the Jets still have a pressure rate near 50%. In week 10, the last 3 weeks, they're at like 46.2%. I mean, you pair that with their good secondary. I don't know. It's
going to be hard.
Superman, get ready for Superman.
Well, they need to dial that up. They've gone away from the quarterback run stuff this year. They need to dial that back up. I mean, we need to see the Cam Newton version of Josh Allen. You invoke the name of Superman, and that's directly what I go to. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of projecting that 7 carries, 50% chance of scoring on the ground. Basically, I mean, I don't know what other choice they're going to have here based on everything we've seen. You know, Gabe didn't do crap in that opener. I do like Kincaid though. And then, I mean, any thoughts on where Zach Wilson is? It's pretty painful. Like there's literally nothing going on other than Wilson and maybe, the tight end Conklin.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It's tough out there with Wilson. He's gonna target the crap out of Garrett, obviously, which win for us there. But the big concerning thing with Wilson is there's a lot of turn downs. You're seeing it. He's just not seeing it. Where guys are open in his progression, and he's just not throwing the ball. He's opting to hold it or check it down anyways. He doesn't trust himself right now.
What's the opposite of a turn down? An accept?
Turn up?
Yeah. I guess throwing the ball on time.
Seahawks at the Rams. I still like the Seahawk D where they're at. Injury wise here, real quick. Anything, Adam?
Yeah, Lockett has a hamstring injury. He didn't work today. I didn't get the feeling they're concerned about it because he's had this for a little bit. The good thing is Metcalf is off the injury report with a hip injury, thank goodness, because he's had this for a while. But tomorrow, obviously, as long as Lockett gets limited practice, then he'll play. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, would be a concern if he can't play. Yeah,
I mean, I don't have much on this matchup, Brad. I do respect Seattle's D. Any thoughts here? I worry a little bit about the matchup, honestly, for the Rams with the Seattle corners, playing real well.
Yeah, they are playing real well, and they've kind of gotten better a little, as the season's gone on. The data starting to level out a little bit in their favor. The pass rush is coming alive too. Like they've been much better. So they're ranking. Gosh, yeah, they were near the bottom of the league. They're up towards the middle of the league now. The last 3 weeks, so that's a huge improvement for them. All said and done, there's something. The last few times I've watched Stafford, wasn't Stafford last time, but just this offense in general, it's just not clicking like it was early in the season.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure why. I think teams maybe are playing them a little differently. Like early in the year, you were seeing them get a lot of off zone coverage. And that's really how, Puka was winning so much of his reps. And now they're not giving him that look anymore. So
still seems like Puka gets 5 grabs regardless.
John, we should mention he has this lingering knee issue. They do expect him to play, but he's had this for a while and it's not fully healed. So that's a little bit of.
Do you know what knee it is? He dealt with knee a lot in college.
Know. What's that?
He dealt with knee a lot in college, knee injury. So
he did have an injury checklist there. And then how many more weeks before we really, if Cooper Kupp has another poor game at that point, do we really worry here, Adam?
Well, look, Stafford is. By the way, he's going to play. He's back. He had the thumb. That's all. It's part of it.
He's had 3 bad games in a row, basically.
I hear you. I know. And the problem is they're playing double Z receiver groups. They don't have an X, so this is kind of weird without Jefferson. They're trying to Jimmy rig it together because remember, Kupp had a preseason injury. This kid, Nakua, is going off.
2-2.
Now they have to get them to play together going forward all the time. This is not easy. The way they're forming it. So. One thing, John, real quick. Seattle's offensive line. This is the healthiest it's been all season. And they are very happy with Charbonnet's tape from this last game. I was told very strongly.
I've been pumping him up. I really like him the last 2-3 weeks.
He closed well. He picked pass protection. He ID'd the blitzers well. They're pretty happy. And Pete, I know for a fact, is very happy.
Yeah, he looks good. One more week of Darrell Henderson, right?
What's that?
One more week of Darrell Henderson.
Oh, until Kyron comes back? Yeah.
Yeah. Royce Freeman.
Yep.
All right. Well, moving on to the Minnesota Vikings at the Denver Broncos. Not an easy matchup here. I'd say Denver's D greatly improving. Injury wise, I see a Caleb Evans, a starting corner for the Vikings.
Yeah,
Adam.
he's got a calf strain. He probably won't play. Not a done deal. See what happens tomorrow, but that's not good on a short week. Jefferson's real close. They have till Saturday to activate him for this game if they want to play. Looks like Osborne's going to be cleared, barring a setback from his concussion. You saw last week that Jalen Naylor started for him. Yet, look how well he did. Look how well Dobbs did. And Dobbs has a minor injury, ankle, but he's fine. He took all the reps. But the big thing is figuring out if Jefferson could be. See, the thing is, when you have a significant hamstring strain, you got to get all the fluid out, and they're going to check his fluids and make sure the hamstring's good. It'll be fascinating to see what happens if he plays this week. It really will.
Yeah. Well, Brett, what do you think of Denver's D? Seasons within the season. First 2 seasons of this year, they were awful. Now they're good.
It's crazy. We talked about it last week, but they're playing good all over the place. I mean, run defense is dramatically improved. The pass coverage, though, is where they've really gotten better. And they play a lot of zone, which is surprising considering they have Patrick Surtain at their disposal, and they are not giving up anything in zone coverage. One of the best zone coverages in the NFL. And Surtain, by the way, he's going to shadow somebody in this game. They'd usually, like, if Jefferson plays, obviously it'll be Jefferson. If he doesn't, he's going to shadow Addison. I'm pretty confident in that.
I would say, yeah.
Which is not good for Addison.
No.
Yeah,
Hawkinson
not ideal for Jefferson's first game back either.
Dude, Hawkinson's Dr. Pepper, John. Oh my, he's just ridiculous.
What is the deal with Madison?
He started working today, so he's about halfway through the concussion protocol, so he's got a chance. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, Sunday night game too.
Yep.
We may not know.
Well, we may know more tomorrow because if he has a full practice, the way it works with the full practice on Friday with a concussion, 90% the guy gets cleared. So tomorrow's a big day for him.
Yeah, I think it's a tougher matchup for Dobbs, but I also think he'll find a way, figure it out, run around, and probably come through. But I'm not expecting a big game here. But also, I don't know about we do have a total of 42, which isn't awful, Brett.
Oh, John, on that, Judy got added today.
Yeah.
So we'll keep. Not that he's been good at all, but that does affect. Russell Wilson's been putting numbers up, so that'll be a factor if he can't play.
Yeah. Well, Brett, Vikes play a lot of man. We like Judy against man. I kind of like Russ against man, I guess. But this Viking secondary now is good. So overall, this is a tough matchup. They're now. I think the Vikings are a top 10 bad matchup all around.
Yeah. It's their tape is so all over the place. Like, I feel like when I watch them, I'm seeing corners that are getting beat, but the zero blitzing stuff is really helping them. I mean, the quarterback just can't get the ball to the open receivers. So all it takes though is one catch and it changes everything. So I don't know, their blitz rate's insane. It's like 38% the last 3 weeks. The 3 weeks before that, it was in the 40%. So
wow.
And they don't get home though without that blitz though. That Minnesota pass rush is really bad unless they're blitzing. So
I don't know how Russ is against the blitz these days though.
He likes to throw deep against the blitz. Since even back Seattle, even last year he led the league in ADOT when blitzed. Yeah, just something in his brain clicks where he says, "I'm getting blitzed. That means I got one-on-one. I'm chucking it deep."
That's true. I mean, and who would that guy be? I mean, Judy's been the shot play guy.
Yeah. They've thrown some to Sutton as well. They've mixed it up, honestly. Oh, yeah. Marvin Mims, I think 85% of his routes are verticals. He's just a clear out guy right now. But if Russ starts to get those alerts where he is seeing blitz, Mims will be the alert guy on those plays. So could be a deep shot game to Mims.
How much do you think Greg Dulcich could help them down the stretch?
Unless we fixed Russ's ability to throw in the middle of the field, I don't know.
Yeah, design some plays of the guy though. Here and there, shot play. Dude runs like a deer. Javonte looking good. Tough matchup though for Javonte. Yeah, I do. What do you think of Judy? Would you look at Judy. Let's assume he goes, Brett, in this matchup.
I really like Judy. Judy is just perpetually underused. Like he's pretty much always open, is my opinion of Judy. I think he's a really, really good route runner. Byron Murphy playing back in the slot this week? I think he is. I know they've moved him.
That's where we have it
out. Yeah, it's been weird. I think he played in the slot last week. So if he's there, I definitely think that's a winnable matchup for Judy. Murphy's not a good man corner in the slot.
And then last but not least, the Monday Night Affair. Adam, looks like Jalen Hurts got some good news.
Yeah, so he's out without the brace. Yeah, and getting off his feet helped him. So the big one's Goddard's out with the forearm fracture. They'll go with the tight end by committee. They should have Bradley Roby, their nickel. They're giving up. They're getting absolutely torched. John, they've got the worst secondary in football.
It's got to be a Rashee Rice game.
It should be, particularly in the red zone. But Roby should play. He'll help them. He played actually very well before he got hurt. But they're the only NFL team that doesn't have a true nickel until Roby plays.
I have always been a fan of Roby.
Bradley
but
Roby.
Is he still good?
Yeah. Oh, he did. Well, let's put it this way. He's not the player he once was. That's why the Saints cut him. But he did a good job before he got hurt. He played very well in the Rams game. Got hurt against the Jets, and this will be his first game back. He's trending towards being cleared. Oh, this is a big one. You know how bad the running game has been lately? Well, part of it's because Cam Jurgens, the right guard, hadn't played in a while. He should play. He should play Monday night, and their run game was phenomenal when he was playing.
Yeah, what do you think? Do they do their normal come out attacking, or it's a tough secondary to do that against.
It is, I know. And Spags is he knows when to blitz. It'll be interesting to see what he does here. The Eagles do not stay with a run, though, historically with Sirianni, unless they get off to a good start. That's on your question. They typically won't. And now, if they're running well, sometimes they'll stay with it. We saw that against Green Bay last year, Minnesota in week 2. That part of it's because Flores decided to have a light box. But no, they'll throw. But here's the question without Goddard. Will they be more 11 or 12 personnel? That's the question.
Yeah, do they have the dudes to play 11, Brett? Zacchaeus.
Julio?
Oh, yeah, Julio. Yeah, I forgot about Julio. Okay.
Yeah.
How about Devontae Smith this week? Per the alignment numbers, Jalen Watson, the second-year corner, has been giving up some production, Brett.
Yeah, 0.4 fantasy points allowed per coverage snap. Combine that with the fact that L'Jarius Sneed is going to shadow AJ Brown. We're projecting that, and we've been pretty spot on with that. He usually does. Any above average receiver, he's going to shadow them. One thing that's crazy though about AJ Brown is it seems to just not matter sometimes who's on him and the way they use him. And Kansas City will play a good mix of man and zone, so they'll be able to manufacture touches for him. But man, like we're in the dawn of the wide receiver era. We're coming out of the QB era. We're now in the wide receiver era. There's 12 receivers this year that have a target rate over 35%. That's a first read rate over 35%. In the last 2 years combined, there was only 5. We got 12 this year. Like the alpha receiver era is for sure back. It's no longer spread it out football, and AJ Brown obviously is at the top of that list. So it's nuts.
But I do think, though, I'm not disputing your point, but I think you have a lot of teams going heavy with that alpha dog, but then the rest, they are dividing that up among more guys than ever.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's why all these damn props. It's like, oh, Odell Beckham, 22 yards. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, or starting receivers in capable offenses, 26 yards. I'm like, what? Anyways, on that note, we'll wrap here. Week number 11 kicks off in pretty damn soon here, like 30 minutes. Pretty good on the time there. Hour and 19 minutes. That's about normal. We'll wrap here for Adam Caplan. Good stuff from Adam and Brett. I'm John. Special shout out to Tommy T on the other side of the glass. Watch all the other live streams here at fantasypoints.com, and good luck in week 11.